Time for our final best of 5 of the night here at the SSL. And it's going to be a Protoss versus Protoss. Deer versus Patience.
Awesome to see both of these guys back, actually making it through the qualifiers. They are here in the round of 32. It's a bit unfortunate. One of these guys has to get knocked out. But it's Patience, one of our guys here, one of the Protosses we got.
Yep. As you can see, he's also playing on a foreign team, Dead Pixels, and has a ton of good results overseas, making 3 top 8s at DreamHack.
Definitely likes DreamHack.
Yeah.
Wants to go to every one of those.
And even was in the Hot 6 Cup, as you guys could see. Ended up falling out in the round of 32, but qualifying for that is no easy feat with all the great players you've got in Korea, and also the players returning to Korea. Qualifying for this Starleague is also a pretty tough achievement.
It's always crazy to qualify for anything in Korea, even outside of Korea. It's just hard. This is pro gaming, man. And Deer is back as well. He was able to qualify, speaking of him.
Yep, as you can see, this guy's got a ton of decent achievements as well. With how well he did in 2013, a lot of people were saying, you know, this guy is the next big Protoss. He's going to be, you know, the best Protosses in the world this year. Didn't happen. He went on Mouse Sports for a while. Definitely struggled while he was on that team, and finally has rejoined the team, has moved into Samsung here. Did beat Hero, actually, in a Protoss versus Protoss just recently in Pro League.
Yeah. And he looked good doing it. I mean, Hero looked nervous, so you do have to give it to him that he was kind of playing against a nervous player, but still, to beat a guy like Hero is never easy. And this isn't the same matchup of PvP, so could be good for him.
Bans on Nimbus and Foxtrot. Nimbus and PvP map where you get a pretty safe expansion, but you know, the only thing you really have to be worried about is oracles on that map. And Patience just not wanting to play that game, and Deer banning out Foxtrot Labs, not a bad choice to ban. Not a huge deal overall. Either the fact that neither of them bans Deadwing, for example, or Catalina, for that matter, means that they're not really scared about playing late game PvP if it comes to that.
Yeah, a decent mix there. You know, Deadwing at 2, Catalina at 4. We're gonna go smaller map, bigger map, smaller map, bigger map. It's gonna go very back and forth and test these guys a little bit.
Well, Valdez, it's time. Whoever wins this merry-go-round map is going to take a lead. And Protoss versus Protoss momentum is so important. Let's go into our final best of 5 of the night here at the SSL.
Down here in the south of Merry-Go-Round, the red Protoss here, it is Patience.
Great idea. Patience as a virtue itself is so important to have.
Yeah. It's good for parenting and pro gaming.
Absolutely. Up to the top right in blue, it's Deer. Bounced around several teams before settling onto Samsung recently. Well, Patience not having to parent just yet.
No, not yet.
I didn't want anyone to be misled by Valdez's statement earlier. He doesn't have any kids.
Guys, you don't know it yet, but actually he has a nice young daughter. She's very cute.
Don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed.
I'm going to just spread misinformation as a caster. Just be like, oh yeah, Patience, he's actually from China. You guys didn't know. He was brought over here when he was really young, brought up by Korean parents. It's actually why he has a Korean name.
His grandfather invented spaghetti. I don't know. I mean, what are you making up here?
He's actually Italian.
So
I don't know.
Both of these players scout. Patience scouts wrong. Could end up leaving his probe up there to hide something once he finds out he scouted the wrong direction. So let's wait and see what he decides to do with that. And actually, Deer scouts incorrectly as well. This map, we see a lot of Stargate proxies, usually on the little high ground bases that you guys can see scattered around the watchtower. If we do see a Stargate proxy, that's where we're going to see it. They both run into each other here. Deer can't be sure that this is just a missed wrong scout, so he has to go in the main base.
Yeah, could be a later scout. Just run at them just randomly at the bottom of that ramp. But now Deer does know, and he will scout the bottom of the place, the map.
This place we call merry-go-round.
Yeah. It's a fun place. Well,
this scout is a little bit faster here for Patience, but they both are going to get all the info, which is not a ton of info just yet.
Yeah. I didn't actually scout the timing of the cybernetics scores, but it seems like Deers is just slightly ahead.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think partially because the scout of Patience was also slightly faster, which cost him a few minerals. And I think that's the main reason. Not a huge difference here. Also a lot more gas mined from Patience as well. Something else that gets there. One of the reasons why he has less minerals. Because he had 3 and 3, whereas it looks like Deer stayed 2 and 2 for a few trips to get those extra minerals to have that faster core. So stylistic choices here. And a Twilight Council for Deer and for Patience.
Ooh. This can always be interesting because, you know, you could just have straight up Blink versus Blink and just go and kind of transition because usually neither player gets a big advantage unless one messes up their micro. But also, one player could go for DTs while the other player goes for Blink. And in that case, the blinking player will not have any, what's it called? They can't see the detection. They won't have any detection. And they can really get killed by the DTs.
Good scout deny here, too, actually. On that mothership core, sees where it's coming from and shuts it down hard. And actually probably stop this probe too. Oh no,
that is actually
well. He's
really
going Blink
big.
now.
Yeah, man. If he wasn't before, he is now. But again, like if any skirmishes happen in the middle of the map,
oh, you know what? He can actually kill probes because that stalker is stuck.
God.
He's going to be able to get some probe kills. He doesn't know it now. He sees it. And he's like, wait a minute. Time warp goes down as well. This is huge, actually.
Oh my God. What?
He's going to be able to get one more probe if he targets. Oh, he's not targeting. What he's doing?
He's actually taking too much damage.
He's actually going to lose this, I think.
Could
totally mess that up.
May well be losing it. He's just going to have to sacrifice it, I guess. He was attacking the stalker there at the end. Both these players making some strange mistakes here in this game. Maybe a bit of nerves going into the first one.
I don't know what feeling is worse, is just totally messing up your control and losing your mothership core in a situation like that, or trapping your stalker. I don't know which which would make me feel more upset. A huge commitment to stalkers, by the way, out of Patience, but defensively first, since he scouted, since he knows he's up against Blink, but he didn't see the Dark Shrine, so he doesn't have detection.
That was the tricky part of this. He's like, oh, okay, you've seen everything, and you think you've seen everything. You think I'm going Blink, because you wouldn't expect me to add this late of a Dark Shrine, but he does.
This is kind of funny because right now Patience, because he lost his mothership core, is feeling like, oh god, you know, I really got to keep these units at home because I'm not going to have that Nexus Cannon. I don't want to attack into his Nexus Cannon. And I saw his Chrono Boost on his Stalkers, and Deer is like, well, I don't have that many Stalkers because I'm actually going Dark Shrine. So both players are sitting back defensively with their Blink Stalker, and I think Patience has started to realize this. He did scout with a probe. Now he's like, okay, you were going to attack me. Where's your pylon? Going to kill that. And killing this pylon is pretty important because now there's no forward warping point whatsoever for the Dark Shrine. None. The closest forward warping point is like in his main base. Doesn't even have any pylons that stick over the edge of his base to get a faster warping. Just making one DT. And he's going to use that to maybe get some harassment done. He's hoping to get something done with this.
Well, I mean, there's already an observer on the way. So anything he would have hoped to do can't really do much damage unless later on he commits to, you know, warp prisms, maybe goes for a drop while the observer is not in the main base. That is something you can do, but again, that's another commitment to a lot of resources, so we may not see Deer go for it.
Yep. I mean, like, there is zero chance of DT, first of all, doing damage, and second of all, escaping because of Blink. Could surround it with Blink. So, he had, by the way, like 3 sentries on the ramp. So he was like 100% ready
even if
for
he
DTs.
didn't blink on it or anything.
Even if he didn't have detection.
Yeah.
Like if he made an immortal for extra safety even, he would have been able to force field the DT out. And, you know, as you can see back at home for Deer, he also gets his own sentries because he's scared of the potential DTs. Ooh. That almost cost him a Stalker. Gonna lose his Observer.
That is a big cost, you know. It does turn out that Patience does make 2. So you will have that extra one. But, you know, for Deer, sniping an observer when you got Dark Shrine on the map can be something useful.
Definitely it can be, especially because to make observers means you can't make immortals. And that's stressful at this moment for Patience, who doesn't know if Deer is committing to more stalkers, if he's expanding. Or, you know, he knows he's expanding, but he doesn't know, you know, how he wants to play this. He could just do, like, a big stalker attack, and he needs to be ready for that. But it turns out that they're both going to play a little bit more passively here, just trying to scout each other with hallucinations. Deer has control of the map, but he's behind in tech. He starts his Temple Archive, so he's going down that Charge Zealot Archon path. And he's behind in his +1, but only slightly. Good scout on that Temple Archives, by the way.
Yeah, wow. He actually came back for another pass, you know. Went in from the right side, went to the left, went to the natural, and then actually came back. The Stalkers of Deer not in the main base to actually deny that. So just trying to put on the pressure at the front door. Patience here, rather.
Patience is just going to keep scouting all day, all night. He just comes back. You're still making that right. And, you know, he checked earlier with the Stalker count. He knows he can win this fight. And he gets 2 Stalkers for 1. Had his +1 been done, he might have actually even pushed the issue further.
We got Storm on the way. This is something we don't see very often, but he's got a Warp Prism as well. I think it's got to be Storm drops here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No doubt about that. So, I mean, this is something that we see catch players off guard a lot. Because, you know, if you don't pull your probes immediately, the Storm's going to go down and die. You can have Stalkers in your mineral line, but the Storms are still going to hit your probes. Oh, wow.
He actually just blinked forward before that, and he was not able to blink away right away.
So he can actually get blinked on again here.
Yep.
Boom.
There we go.
Targets the furthest one away that he could reach. Decides not to continue the issue, though, because he's not sure what's up at the top of that ramp. This Storm Drop needs to do damage for Deer. It's critical. It's quintessential, actually. Without any damage being done with this Storm, he's going to be behind in this game in almost every way. He has to get a lot done here. There's no defense whatsoever, and he sees that with his Observer. So this should be able to get a number of kills here. Oh, he turns around after seeing that Warp Prism. Oh, Storm's not quite ready yet. Or, excuse me, not seeing the Warp Prism, but seeing the Pylon.
Yeah, just wants to wait until that's ready. Now he's going in for a pass, but Patient is spoken at the front. But here we go. Going to drop down the High Templar. Double Storm and a ton of kills coming down here. 12 in total. And he will actually escape at the same time.
And that's the scary thing about Storm Drops is even if you see it coming, you think it's a Zealot drop, or you just want to put Stalkers there, or in this case, you want to just use his Mothership Core to just use a Nexus Cannon. That kind of stuff doesn't stop the Storms from happening. And that was a ton of damage done. That's exactly what he needed. And we saw Patience power up a ton of gateways almost as if he wanted to just attack. But now he can't really commit to that because he doesn't have the probe count to reinforce his attack. He's at 46 to 47. He's still pretty even. But if he didn't lose any...
Going?
Oh, God. What is this? He's going to... Oh, not quite. I thought he was going to lose more. I don't know what happened with those probes, by the way. I think that was just a misclick.
Yeah, looks like it. Okay, he's going to send him back now.
Oops. It's all right. Deer actually takes a supply lead here. And, you know, he's made a huge round of Zealot Orpans. But he doesn't have any Colossi. Actually, no, I take it back. Just one of them just finished. He's about to have a second one. But this is the advantage that Patience has. See if he can actually make this work. Micro and control. I guess those are basically two ways of saying the same thing. But positioning, micro, time warps, that's what this is going to come down to here.
Patience is actually ahead in like every facet. He's got +2. He's got charge here. He's got 1 extra Colossus.
Well, that timing window is closing. The defender's advantage is strong here for Deer. He's got the high ground. He can fan out his units defensively. He's got Colossi spawning, and he's about to have +2.
Yeah,
I think the decision to pull back is smart.
Is not all together here.
It's better to just pull back, make sure he has a good position on the map because he's got pylons everywhere to see move outs, and they're going to help him out position-wise so he can see exactly how Deer wants to move across the map. And just add a Nexus, you know? Just add a Nexus.
Add a second Robo.
Yeah,
just try to get ahead of your opponent in that way. He's having patience, man. It's so funny. Like,
well said. So he's poised to take that third base. He hasn't taken it yet, though. I think he will. Okay, it started. His +3 is ahead. Let's see how Deer reacts. He's going to make a fake Colossus here to even make it look like his army is much stronger. But he's got no longevity with his tech. Like, he's not getting a second Robo. He's not getting a third base. There is a third base. It gets spotted immediately. And he doesn't have +3 on the way. So he's ahead in supply. And the main reason why is because he has a much larger Zealot count, 20 to 5 right now.
Patience is dumping a lot of resources into getting double Colossi out right now. It's going to take a little bit longer here, but as he slowly gets that count, he's going to have so much more AoE in this mix. He cannot get caught out here, though.
No, he cannot. That Mothership Core of Deer has full energy. You don't want to get caught like this and get time warped. That could spell disaster. Oh. I mean, this is not a good place for Deer to engage either. He's walking into a concave. Time Warp goes down to save himself here. He tries to reposition, but he gets Time Warped himself. I think turning around there might have been a mistake. He's eating a lot of damage on his Zealots. One thing to consider, though, the Time Warps are both used for Patience. He doesn't have any left, whereas Deer has one more.
Very true, but look at this Patience fanning out here. But again, Deer, he knows he cannot take that fight, so he just puts down another Time Warp, kind of a defensive one, saying, okay, step back here, and now he's going for it, but it's kind of all scrambled here, and Patience has got a really nice concave in the back. He's got more Colossi.
Yep, he has the better concave, even with the Warp in here for Deer. It's just too little too late. He lost way too much. Good targeting on those Stalkers, by the way, on that last Colossus. The Immortal here as well to help finish things off. Going to kill that Archon, and is going to kill Deer here. Patience is going to take this first win.
Yep, oftentimes in PvP, you win the big fight, you win the game. And look at this. All the Colossi are left over. You can easily just warp in.
GG. +3 done in that fight for Patience as well. Not done for Deer. I think that was one of the other reasons why that fight went so heavily into his favor. But the concave that you mentioned is the main reason. He pushed Patience into an awkward position where he was forced to be away from his base. I think instead of deciding to chase, the better option there would have been just to take that position and take control of the middle of the map, then maybe start harassing, because Patience was being pushed towards the 9 o'clock position, way away from his bases, not where he wanted to be.
And the, just the composition of Patience's army as well was pretty much just maxing out those Colossi. He didn't really have a Warp Prism on the map to like harass or anything, whereas Deer definitely could have used that to his advantage, like we were saying. Deer on Samsung Galaxy, of course, does have Stork in the booth here to